Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying the 2025 Microsoft Ignite conference. My name is Ali from Product Marketing at RSA. I'm joined here with my colleague, Kenn Chong from Product Management at RSA. We have an exciting presentation here for you guys today. We're going to cover a few best practices and trends we see when it comes to identity security, phishing, and bypass attacks. Before we dive into the session today, I want to quickly do an overview of RSA, who we are, and what we are doing today. RSA protects the world's most secure sensitive, availability sensitive, and change sensitive organization for leaders in finance, government, healthcare, and energy and other related industries. RSA's unified identity platform delivers passwordless, secure, and convenient access, defends organization from AI-powered threats, and perform continuous identity security posture management, whether in cloud, hybrid, or on-prem. RSA ensures organization remain secure and maintain compliance, and that users stay productive. RSA's unified identity platform adds a critical layer of security to Microsoft Entra ID and integrates seamlessly across all ecosystems and technology platforms to protect your business wherever it operates. So let's dive into what we're here to talk about. We're continuing to see more organizations have started their passwordless MFA journey, which is fantastic. They're either trying to meet a compliance requirement or simply advance and accelerate their zero trust maturity to include passwordless MFA and also including phishing resistant MFA with passkeys and security keys. But more and more so, we've seen that phishing resistant MFA isn't enough. And we'll talk about why. When it comes to adoption of passwordless, specifically when it comes to passkeys, Gartner predicts that 75% of workforce authentication will be passwordless by year 2027. And by year 2027, 90% of MFA will be based on FIDO authentication process. This is great. Passkeys and passwordless, removing knowledge-based questions with something you are and something you have. However, we're seeing more often than not, bad actors are not trying to break into the phishing with phishing attacks, but they're trying to bypass the MFA altogether so they can simply log in. And they take advantage of exploiting and weak credential management processes. We saw it in past few months. No attacker is going to deploy a zero-day attack on strong authentication method if they can instead call the help desk and request change to authentication method. This is from Gartner again. Bad actors are continuously exploiting credential weakness when it comes to enrollment or recovery, or simply exploiting the human trust. Again, humans are becoming the weakest link. Even though we remove passwords, bad actors are still evolving and trying to log in. So they're not just breaking in, they're logging in. We're seeing the devastating prices when it comes to these bypass attacks. So what is a bypass attacks? We've had it when it comes to Uber with prompt bombing, for example, or deep fakes and social engineering. We heard from MGM Grand, healthcare employees are being targeted. And past few months, the retail and financial services have been attacked by bypass attacks. They're just calling simply the help desk through social engineering, pretending to be the employees or admins and getting their passwords reset so they can just simply logging in. So brings back to my original question. Are we just giving the bad actors and attackers a free pass? And with that, I'm going to hand it off to my colleague Ken to dive into some of the best practices that we see that have worked and continues to prevent bypass and phishing attacks against organizations. Ken, please take it away.
All right. Thank you very much, Ali. So hello, everyone. My name is Kenn Chong from Product Management. I hope you guys are doing well, and you guys have taken a lot of notes as far as what's going on in the industry these days as far as going passwordless. So back over 5-6 years ago, everybody wanted to go passwordless, and we all have decided that the best passwordless option after all is if you can have an authenticator that is also phishing resistant. So great, we've started deploying phishing resistant authenticators, and everyone's got a phishing resistant authenticator in their hand. Attackers have pretty much said, okay, great. So I am now I have now resigned the fact that, that I can't really break your authenticators, I am now, instead of breaching your authenticators, I am now literally going to just walk into the front door with your authenticator. How does this happen? Okay, this is where we talk about bypass attacks. So here are essentially 4 key areas where bypasses can happen if you do not secure them correctly. All right, so first, let's talk about secure enrollment. When you enroll for an MFA authenticator, right, which is essentially a 2 or more factor of authentication that's happening, you got to make sure that this is really the right person that is signing up for that authenticator. So your enrollment processes have to be secure. Make sure that they are who they are, not with a simple one-time code sent to their email or one-time code sent to their text message, right? But rather, you must make sure you have 2 or more factors of verification in order to sign up for your 2 or more factor of authentication. Okay, so that's one, secure enrollment. Next, once they have access to their authenticators, your users should be able to seamlessly and securely access all the protected resource that they need to for work, but more importantly, be able to use the same MFA authenticator that they just enrolled to essentially manage their authenticators itself. And then in the event your user has lost that one and only authenticator that you just signed up for, then you gotta also make sure that they have a secure credential recovery process. If I lose my authenticator and the only way I can get back into the system is by you sending me a one-time code so I can sign up for a replacement token, that's a very big failure. Essentially, that is now your backdoor into your organization itself. Okay, and then finally, so the first 3 pillars here are all about self-service, making sure the users can do this on their own. There will be a very small percentage of users who will need help desk calls, right? Who will need the help of help desks. So they'll call the help desk and say, hey, I am so and so and so. Can you please help me get access to my authenticator because I lost it, right? So there has to be a way to also secure your help desks. Make sure that your help desk knows they are helping the right person, but more importantly, bi-directional verification, make sure that your user knows that this is the right admin that is also helping them as well. All 4 points of attack here where bypasses can happen, and this is where you have to make sure that you can securely access them without the use of a password. Here's a demonstration video of how this is actually going to work in action. Take a look. All right, so here I am on day 1, new employee. I have no authenticators. As a new employee, I'm going to go to the enrollment portal. I'm going to verify myself with my first factor of verification, which is a code sent to my email. Followed by an ID proofing step. In this particular case, I will use my driver's license. So I'm going to essentially get a text message on my phone that I will use to take a picture of my driver's license. So front of my driver's license, click. To the back, click. Document looks clean. Now I got to make sure that the person that is taking a picture of the document matches with a selfie match, right? Make sure that this live selfie matches what is on the document itself. So 2 or more factors of verification. If I'm good, your enrollment process is secure, and you should be allowed in to now sign up for your first MFA authenticator. In this particular case, I'm going to sign up for a mobile authenticator app using a simple QR code. And I'm in. I have my mobile authenticator coupled with my passkey as well. Now that I have my authenticator, I can now use that authenticator to sign in passwordless to my desktop, Windows or Mac. And then from that point onwards, in my desktop, I can launch a browser. and I can then sign in to, for example, a Microsoft Office portal via EAM, step up with my Authenticator app itself that I just registered for. So in this particular case, I'm using a FIDO Authenticator. All right, take a picture of the QR code, click Mobile Authenticator, accept it, and I'm in. Here's my access without the use of passwords with my phishing resistant authenticator to my Microsoft portal itself. As well as I can also use the same authenticator to log in to my non-Microsoft resources as well, again with the same passkey. Take a picture of the QR code. All right, passkey accepted, and I'm in. I can now access all the different work resources that I need to access securely. All my apps. More importantly, if I want to now manage my authenticators, there should be a portal access to do this self-service as well. So you have your enrollment and your self-service, and now in the event I lose access to my authenticator, I can then do the same steps to do credential recovery. In this particular case, verify myself with a code sent to my email. And again, followed by a document verification scan. Now, as we go through this, keep in mind that credential recovery should also make sure that it only allows users with one authenticator to do this process itself. Because if you think about it, if I have 2 registered authenticators or more, I should be able to use my other authenticator to sign into my self-service portal to replace that lost or stolen authenticator. Your credential recovery process should not be a backdoor into the system so that your attackers can then exploit it to sign up for an authenticator, right? Without the knowledge of the user itself. So this is very, very key. Credential recovery should only work with people for one authenticator only. Okay, as you can see, I've gotten myself scanned, my document is validated, and if everything goes well, you will see, most important as well, an extra step that says, hey, you, Mr. User, why are you doing credential recovery? Make sure that this is auditable, and that way your admins can tell if a user keeps on doing credential recovery. You might want to go and talk to them about why are they doing this so often, why are they getting the authenticators lost so often, right? So once credential recovery process verification is done, it removes the lost authenticator from the system, so that way you can register on your own for a replacement authenticator. You don't need to call the admins for this. All right, so 3 steps for self-service. Now let's look at the help desk verification process itself. So in this particular case, there will always be a small percentage of users that will call into the help desk for help, right? Now, what you don't want to happen is if you don't want your help desk to verify if this is the right user based on some live questions, which an attacker might know. Okay, we have seen breaches that have happened over the past couple of years, from the MGMs to Caesars, where the attacker calls in and impersonates the identity of a real person and calls into the help desk admin to ask them to reset a password. Okay, so let's take a look at how this works in this particular demonstration. Hi, this is Ken from RSA, your admin help desk. How can I help you?
Hey, Ken, this is Ethan. I'm at the office today, and I need to set my password, believe it or not.
Okay, let's make sure this is really you. We're going to have you verify your identity. Give me one moment. Okay, Ethan, can you please go to your verification URL at mycompany.com/verify?
You got it.
When you go there,
Right.
you will need to
Okay.
authenticate. All right, I'll take a pause right here. So Ethan here calls the admin saying that he needs help resetting the password. All right, so the admin tells Ethan to go to a static URL, mycompany.com/URL/verify. This is the one same URL no matter who's doing the verification. So that way your users know that they're not being sent to a phishing site because it's the same company URL. Okay, so as Ethan goes on his local browser and pulls up this site, he gets an authentication screen. A good help desk verification process should use access policies, conditional access policies, to offer the end user the most secure but also convenient authentication methods that the user can authenticate with. So in this case, Ethan says, hey, all right, so I'm going to authenticate myself. I'll use that authenticator that I just authenticated with. And in the event, if I don't have access to my authenticator, then you should again offer probably an ID proofing option like the documentation scan, right? So scan your documents just to make sure that this is really you during this process itself.
Got it. I'll get a QR code. Prove. Great. I'm getting a system generated code.
What is your code?
The code is 861-685.
It's 861-685.
861-685, correct.
Great, you're verified.
Awesome.
All right, so in this particular case, Ethan, because he authenticated with an authenticator that's allowed, he gets a system code, provides a system code to the system generated code to the admin itself. The admin validates it, and the admin knows that this is a legitimate user, because the only way the code is valid is if the right user actually authenticated right in the system itself. So that's key here. Now, what is also interesting here, you got to make sure that the help desk process also works in two ways, where it verifies not only who the user is, but it also lets the user validate who the admin is. So check out this particular demonstration
So thank you
of
so much, Kenn.
bidirectional verification. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, this is your admin here. I am trying to verify if you did perform a transaction recently. So I need to verify your identity first before I can proceed.
Yeah, actually, I was just sending my wire transfer from where. So good time, good calling.
Cool. Can you please go to your company verification URL at mycompany.com/verify?
Sure, let me do that real quick.
I need you to get me the code when you authenticate, after you have authenticated.
Sure. Let me get you the code. Let me log in with my QR code. It's giving me an error. Who did you say you were again?
Oop, sorry, wrong number. Click. All right. So in that particular scene, you can see that the attacker tries to phish a user and says, hey, I need you to go to your mycompany.com URL, verify URL, and authenticate because I need a code from you, right? So because this is not a legitimate admin that started the verification transaction, the system should detect that and not provide Ethan the code itself, which you saw Ethan never got one, which should be a very big sign, a big flag that whoever it is on the call is not the right administrator. Well, there we go. So as you can see from my demonstration, I've shown you exactly how you can secure your enrollment, self-service, credential recovery, and most importantly, also your help desks from bypass attacks. So it is very imperative that you review your passwordless deployments within your organizations to make sure they are phishing resistant and bypass resistant as well.